Mike,
Hey, how's it going?
good, my friend. How you been?
Hey, good.
Good, brother. Good. You hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you clear, loud and clear.
Good deal. Let me open the show and we're going to rap for a while.
All
All
right,
right?
sounds good.
Good deal. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. That's right. I'm your host, Big Al, and I take that original local and national music and I shove it in your face. You need to hear it. I bring you the story. You need to listen to the music because it's great stuff all around the world, all genres and age groups. It is simply amazing. And I feel blessed to be able to bring you the story and the music. We're on our 171st show today, which is great. So please check out the past podcast and definitely stick around for the future podcast. A lot of great artists coming aboard. Oh, it is amazing. Also, use my three favorite words: support, support, support. Support these artists. Go out to their gigs. If there's a cover charge, pay it. Get the swag, the CDs, the digital downloads, the albums, the t shirts, the hats, you name it. There's a lot of swag of all different things. So pick it up as much as you can and support them because they love doing what they're doing to put a smile on your face because you come home from a crappy 8 to 10 hour day, they rock you out. And when you smile, they smile. So it's a double edged sword. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. And also, I just wanted to mention we're picking up new countries left and right. I'm happy. Yes, we've just picked up five in the past week and a half: the Netherlands, Romania, Colombia, Cayman Islands, and Peru. So, everybody in those countries, I appreciate you tuning in to the No Cover TV podcast. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So, we've got a great show for you today. Can't wait to get to this show. This band has been on the show before, and it's been almost a year. Now, I mentioned this is the 171st show. The last number on their show about a year ago was 77. So it's been close to a year. So I'm going to enjoy this a lot. So in the house is Mike Alvarez from the band Scarlet Curve out of Wisconsin. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, great to be back. Great to get a
It's
chance to
great to have
chat.
you back, brother. Talk up just a little bit for me.
Great to have you back, man. Great for us to be chatting again. It's a good time. It's what you do
Oh,
is amazing.
oh man, I can't believe it's been almost a year.
Time goes by so quick.
And it has come by very quick. It's like, okay, I'm aging a little more. So, my goodness. So, we got quite a bit to chat about. It looks like you've been, very busy this past year, doing
We
quite a bit of different things.
Yeah, we've got. I mean, we like I've always said, we've always been fortunate that all of the central Wisconsin, Midwest has really taken to us. We've been fortunate to be a band for about 18 years, so we've seen the highs and the lows, and obviously been there through COVID and survived. I guess is what we always tell everybody, that the industry's changed, and it's
It's
continuing to change.
it does evolve constantly, and be together for 18 years. Pat on the back for that, because that you've gone through the difficult times, a little bit easy, but back to difficult. It's just back and forth,
Yeah,
and
it's we get a chance to talk to a lot of owners of different venues across the country, and some of them, are still struggling. The people used to go out all the time to see live music. There's been
yeah,
a change with stuff like Spotify, online stuff. The bands don't have to get out there every weekend. They're able to get their music out through shows like yourself.
yeah,
Some of the movie industries actually, we've noticed as a band that the industry, as far as the movie industry, that generation has become our age that's making the
yeah.
decisions for what songs they're putting in their shows and stuff. So
I agree.
we're starting to get some traction there too.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, it can be a curse having the internet and all these platforms because it is saturated with so much music, and a lot of good bands get overlooked. And of course, it's nice that we get to listen to so much music, but I think it makes people lazy to get off their butt and go to the club and see an act when they can just listen to it on Spotify, like you say, or something else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does open up areas that we've been able to meet and get in touch with bands from across the world now. I mean, London, we've
Beautiful.
seen bands that, as we start to network with them and individuals like yourself, we just had one that was a guy from Mexico, and he thought this. He was like, you know, I think once you guys get down to Mexico, you're gonna be surprised that people are gonna really latch onto you. We've got a guy, Isaac Banks, too, from Australia. You know, we started making some traction there too, and I asked him one day. I said, "How did you even hear about us?" Because he wanted us to do an in studio, and he's like,
Okay.
you know, he's like, "Why don't you guys come on in?" And I asked him where he was from. He says, "Well, I'm from Bristol." And I said, "You know, South Dakota?" You know, that's the first thing I thought. And he says, "No, Australia." And I said, "We're from Wisconsin."
Right. Little time difference there. They're great people in Australia. And you're talking about Banks Radio, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, you're a great guy. Yeah. Well, a lot of good people. And when the gentleman mentioned Mexico, yeah, with your music, you would take right off down there. Yeah. I mean, let's tell everybody out podcast land what we've got. You know, indie alternative rock with a little punk in there and a little blues. It's just a real, like I said last time a year ago, groovy sound. It's real cool.
Yeah, we always set out to make. We've always said it's music for the masses. You can be 18 and like it. You can be 55 and sit there and remember where you were the first time you heard Matchbox 20, or you know when Hootie and the Blowfish came out. They remember that, and we were one of the bands that really kind of stuck to that early 90s alt sound, but it's our own original stuff.
Yeah, it is. And that's what I love. You definitely can distinguish your sound from other people's. Yeah, you have that sound, definitely. Now, the other band members couldn't join us today. They didn't want to speak to me, huh?
No, they did a couple other things came up, and then one of them just had a baby.
Oh,
Other ones has a newborn that they're working with for their daughters too. So we're kind of,
okay.
you know, they're everybody's like, we're trying to get there, but then life always comes up at some point, you know.
Yeah.
And the one thing we've always said, I've always made it a point as the leader of the band that your family comes first, no matter
Oh, of
what.
course. Yeah, everything comes second. Family's always first. Most definitely. Why don't you do me a favor and tell everybody in podcast land the names of your members?
We've got Greg Hansen on drums and Paul Galata on bass. Recently, we're going to be going as a three-piece, kind of just changing the sound again. And, you know,
Okay.
one of our members is making a way of his own. You know, a gentleman that I worked with years ago said every band will go through a change. The Beatles,
Yeah.
you know, Yoko Ono didn't kill the Beatles. Time did.
You timed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just it was good for us. You know, we needed to go forward with a new sound that we liked, and
Right.
you know, it was I myself said we need to get back in the studio, we need to work on the next album, and let's really hone our sound for a showcase of the movies. You know, we wanted to get more towards getting another song in another movie.
Nice.
You know, Old Man has done well for us as far as the Go Fast Pull Up movie soundtrack. If you haven't seen that yet,
No, I haven't. And that's one of my favorite songs.
yeah, that soundtrack. So Chris Rye was the director, and he was the original mind behind the plan. Chris was the main drive of what was called Props BMX, the movie.
Okay.
And you know, over time, we kind of got a chance to meet him, and our drummer said, "Hey, I've got a buddy that's doing a documentary." And because we're from a college town, I automatically thought this is probably some college kid that is in his basement working on something.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you know, just have him sign the contracts and we're good to go. But then, as we started filming and learning about it more, it started to get some traction. You know, Sundance started looking at it, a few other
Nice.
places, and Chris really went through and found original bands throughout the United States that they
Wow.
fit in there. You know, the kind of BMX skater kind of bands that he wanted for some of it, but it's the story of Jimmy Levan, one of the most famous BMX bike
Yeah.
stunt racers. So
Whoa.
yeah, so it's called Go Fast Pull Up, and you can hear Old Man in that.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I will check that out. Now, I will mention you're crackling a little bit. It might be interference with the internet, but I can still hear you just
Okay.
fine. So,
Okay.
so a little crackling. So I just want to let everybody know sometimes we have technical difficulties. No, but everything's going good. Well, that's good. Do you work with a sync agent? Sync as far as somebody that does a sync licensing?
So yes, we started out working with stuff like that. What we've been fortunate enough is all of us in this band are very educated. Um,
Yeah.
we kept our own. We went down that path years ago. I was in a band called the Sand Carvers that signed on to Orphan Records out of Minnesota, and we found that as we got to the point where we started networking with all these other bands that were getting signed to Atlantic, some of the bands that were coming out of Milwaukee area, they learned the hard way that if you can keep control of your own material, your distribution, nowadays it's different because, like I said, there's so many platforms that are out there. CD Baby, Spotify, they're out there looking for stuff to use. It's not like the days of putting flyers on bumpers and windows.
I remember that well.
Yeah, I mean, and that was great because you had to get something to catch somebody's attention. I remember going to Parkside when I was in college and UWM and Madison and walking down Main Street, handing people flyers, and hundreds of flyers would go out, and you'd walk down the street the next day and it was littered all over. You're like, what am I doing? How am I not getting this?
Right. And it's funny when you look at those flyers, there's some very artistic musicians out there that make them pop. That's for sure.
I saw one, somebody posted the other day of, there's a gentleman in Racine that was huge in the punk scene. Just when we were kids, there was no concert halls that would book these bands. So he would rent out Eagles clubs. And he would
nice.
Get 10 bands, that were coming through the area. And as I look back at it, I go, nobody really understood how big this scene was that we were creating back then. Because you had bands like The Exploited, Circle Jerks, Minor Threat coming through. Social Distortion, that's another great one.
Yes, indeed. Oh man, Social Distortion and Circle Jerks. I love it.
Yeah, and they're back out actually. They're going to be in Milwaukee with Bad Religion coming up here. Yeah, I actually Mike Ness and I bumped into those guys. We went out with them for a while in the late 80s. Yeah. They were out in one of the opening bands that was with them. They were fighting on the bus all the time and they packed their stuff and, they were coming through Chicago and he knew who we were. We knew who they were. And he said, hey, you guys want to come out? And I thought, I'm just a high school kid playing with like 22, 23-year-old guys, it was summertime. And I remember calling my mom and saying, hey, can you make sure my credit card works? And she says, where are you?
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. Yeah, that's basically what I said. We're going to be playing with these bands for a while, and I'll be home sometime at the end of the summer. And she could just hear her go, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my mom would have been crying and yelling at the same time.
She was.
How dare you live your dream at that age?
Right?
That's funny. Oh, that's great. Okay. So now for this past year, you obviously been working on some new material.
Yeah. So what we've been doing is trying to find a hook, a really good hook that changes our, not style, but a little bit more in your face, a little bit more three-chord poppy.
I like that.
Yeah, it was good for us to go back and pick up an acoustic guitar too and strip down some of these songs. Yeah. So, we've opened up some more opportunities for us as a 3-piece into an acoustic set. So we added some stuff there. In Wisconsin, what's becoming big is the earlier shows. People are going out 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They're no longer doing that 12 o'clock midnight shows.
It's hard.
Well, our generation too. I mean, they got smart. They don't want to go out and get the DUI. They got kids. They got a babysitter till 10. They got to go home by 10. So I've picked up the Taylor again, and it's good because the Taylor brings a rawness to our new stuff.
And, I love it.
Yeah, it's a little warmer. It's more intimate. It kind of brings you. I always say this next thing will bring you into my brain, like Ghosts when when they recorded that video for us. It really brought people would sway to it, and they would kind of just it brought memories back to them. Good or bad.
Cool. Right. That's cool because I love that video, the song Ghosts. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. That's a great thing. Great thing. So, how many new songs were you able to produce or kick out this
Right
past year?
now, in the studio, right now, we're in the process of finishing up eight, eight new
8.
ones that are really strong. I mean, they're all very similar to the Ghost style, where you can just enjoy them, you know. And
Okay.
Pieces was another one that you'll start to hear get out there. That's a song that when I wrote, I kind of had a vision in my head that a guy's watching his love of his life marry somebody else, and she
Oh,
slips away from him, and he's still in pieces as she moves on.
oh, yeah. Now, on those 8 songs, are you going to make them singles or are you going to put an EP together?
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna trickle them.
There
Everybody, I
you
mean, we will eventually put an EP together out too. The new turn though in the industry is get it out, get it out, get it on Spotify, even if it's a single.
go.
Keep the buzz going, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
slowly figure out who picks up what as far as the entertainment industry. Um,
yeah.
I don't know if you saw that last video that I put out there when we were at. It was the MCA Awards, and that was held in Green Bay. And what it was is a bunch of different indie directors, and they
Oh,
were given all these awards for independent films. So we've
okay.
really been kind of networking with that group of people because they're the ones that are putting together films that don't have the ton of money behind them, but one of them is going to hit a big one.
Ah, yes, indeed. And they need music, and your music is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's definitely, I'd say. Tell everybody on podcast land platforms where they can find your music.
Spotify, it's just Scarlet Curve. You can go on there. CD Baby, iTunes, Apple Music. You can always go to Facebook, Scarlet Curve, Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation has been a really good one for us.
Okay,
Spotify has been great also.
nice. Plus, you got YouTube videos. I love it. All
Yeah, the
right.
YouTube videos you can see. Obviously, the single Old Man and the new
Yeah,
single Ghost is out.
sweet. Now, you guys playing out at all?
Yeah, we actually we've been coming up with a band called the Bad and Zen out of the Madison Portage area. They're on Curtain Call Records, so we've been doing a lot of shows with them. We've got
Okay.
Fish Lake Music Festival June 1st coming up. Now
I,
this is a neat thing. It's always cool to be able to give back. As a band,
yeah,
we always said, people that are in the Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa area have always supported us. So for that, we're doing a festival for it's Hancock, Wisconsin has a lakefront that throughout the years has kind of gone. No one's really paid attention to it. Super
okay.
nice area. So that town is actually doing this festival. It's got 13 bands all day. It's all free. Donations go to the park. So they're
All
going to
right.
revamp for a band show. So
Oh,
they'll be
that's
able to
great.
do stuff for the summer. Yeah, so that
Cool.
lineup again, over the times and over the years, I look around and look at some of the shows that we did and go, there's so much talent that we've had a chance to share the stage with.
I
It's
bet
just amazing, And
it
this is
is.
this is another lineup that when you look at it, you go, okay, well, why aren't these guys signed on to Atlantic or a major label when you hear them?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. There's a lot of great music out there. A lot of great music. Now, this past summer, did you do any festivals or big shows, or what would you
Yeah,
do?
I mean, we came out of the Midwest Bike Fest. That was a good one. We had a lot of stuff that, it's some of the local festivals actually turn out to be better for us
Mm,
because we have a draw, but it's nice to be able to see people that are bringing their families out and their kids like that.
yeah,
Right now, we're still waiting to hear back from Mile of Music in Appleton in the Valley.
nice.
Summerfest is the other one we're waiting for.
Oh,
That's those are shows that they have hundreds of bands apply, and it
oh
takes them
yeah.
almost a year to go through
Just
all of them.
just to choose them. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Now, when you what would you rather prefer? Play a festival with a few thousand people out there 10 feet away from you? Or you rather have to be in a venue where the people are on top of you?
That's a great question. I think there's part of both of them that you get off of the stage, and we've had some of our best shows with 20, 30 people there, and
Oh yeah.
you look at each other as musicians and you go, Paul, our bass player, is one that he's always very musical tech. Like he's like, okay, that was a great show. There was 1,000 people there. He said, but musically, we weren't together tight as we were when we had 25 to 30 people that night. And I always laugh at that because, as a lead singer and a front man, I'm a show guy. I'll
Right.
put on a show for you, and if it's big venue, I'm pumped. I'm going. I'm running. I'm playing. We're jumping. But you get the same show with us in a smaller venue.
That's great. Yeah, you got to do it the same way, man. And like I said, you do put on a hell of a show. You're a great performer, all of you. So, I asked you questions last time you were on, but I don't think I changed up the questions a little bit. And let me ask you some of these, all right?
Sure.
I'm going to pick at you. And I like this one because this probably has happened. It happened to me. Embarrassing moments on stage.
Oh, it's perfectly. Last festival we played, Rooster Fest. Sound guy we never met. New guy. They said he was a great sound guy. I get up and I have a lot of effects: pedals, phasers, flangers, delays, all kinds of stuff. One of my biggest thing is my guitar. I have a Rickenbacker guitar. Everybody looks at it and goes, "Oh my God, that guitar is beautiful." I start playing. We sound check. Everything goes good. We're sound checking on the fly. My guitar drops out completely.
And he's back.
All right. So we were going
All right, we're
most embarrassing
talking
moment for me.
Rooster Fish Festival.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm up there. I've got my pedals. We go through sound check, and I'm always meticulous about checking my patch cords. And
Okay.
for some reason that day, two of my patch cords into my pedals weren't fully plugged in. So I'm playing, and I can't hear any of my guitar. None of my guitars are coming out of the PA, and I'm looking at the sound guy going, "We need more guitar. We need more guitar." And everybody in the audience is going, "What the heck is going on?" And it was one of those ones where you never stop once you start playing to go,
No.
"We don't know what we're doing. We need to stop." So I'm literally looking at everybody in the audience. I'm playing. I've got vocals. I can't hear my guitar, and our songs are I start our songs, they're very guitar driven. And
Yeah.
our bass player is going, "I need more monitor. I need more monitor." Our drummer's going, "I'm great. I can't hear anybody. I don't care. I'm just playing." And Greg held that together by just remembering the songs, So we get 4 or 5 songs in, and I literally ripped my cords out of my pedals, went direct, right into the direct line. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, well, our songs are going to sound totally different, but you can now hear it.
You're hot.
Yeah. So,
Great.
And I was laughing because my mom and dad were there, and they're actually one of our biggest fans. They come to almost all of our shows
That's cool.
Aren't in bars, And she said, you always yell at your guys about how to better learn their equipment. And I was like, I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone. That's cool. That is really cool. All right, let's jump to another one here. All right, hey, this is a good one. Anywhere in the world, you get 2 answers. What stage do you want to perform on?
Anywhere in the world. I think I would really love to go over to any place in London. We're meeting some cool bands from across the pond. Affleck's Palace is starting to network with us a lot. The Sherlocks are a really new, cool band coming out of that area, and they were over there with a band called Keen, and just to get a chance to see some of those venues.
Amazing.
And then, the other thing, I think if we could ever play the stage with, like, the guys from Oasis, either one of them, to open up for somebody like that, and then I think that would make my life complete.
You like to open up for Oasis? Any other group that you might want to open up with?
I would say, well, obviously like U2 or them bands, but as we go through, there's some bands that everybody kind of forgot about. There's a band called The Adorable. Riverside is another band that if you haven't had a chance to check them out, we met them in college, and they were coming out of Pennsylvania. They're now going by Riverside USA, and The first time I heard that band, I was literally driving in my car, and I had to pull over on the side of the road because I thought, what the heck was this? Where did this come from? How are they getting these sounds? And it was when the shoegazing sound was coming out of like Minnesota, Minneapolis
Hmm.
area, and it was they took the jangly sounds of the Rickenbacker and
Oh,
and the beautiful vocals that they put over it. I literally to this day, they finally got their stuff back on Spotify, and I was just kind of going through stuff, and I was like, yeah, whatever happened to our buddies, and so I punched it in, and I went, oh man, they finally got back together.
nice, nice. Yeah, and I see you're keeping your Rickenbacker nice and polished.
Yeah, that's always been my baby. I don't know if I told you the story about that. So the first couple I had, we were in college, and I bought it. I was like, it's on top of the world. I had that, a 12-string Rickenbacker, and another 6-string, and we had our
Hmm.
studio broken into, and they got
Oh,
everything. I mean,
oh
our
no.
bass player's Rick, the chord keyboards, the drums, all my amps, everything, and
Oh no.
so I had chased that type of a guitar again for a long time because I couldn't. I would look everywhere and I was trying to find them, and they were never in like decent shape. They were always kind of that chucked up,
Yeah,
used. Or if you did
yeah,
find them, they were you were gonna pay
yeah.
in the
You were.
nose. So I called a guy in Lacrosse, um, I said, hey, I'm looking for some vintage stuff, and the guy was pretty funny. He says, well, he's like, I got some vintage stuff, and then he goes, then I got some real vintage stuff. He said, what are you looking for? I said, I'm in the real vintage stuff, and he says, well, you're gonna pay for it. And I said, yeah, and he says, well, and then he said, well, what are you looking for? What do you do? And I told him, I'm looking for a 360 hollow body, fire glow, 1990s. And he went, okay, you know your stuff. He was like, come on in. And, so I drove over there a couple hours, and he brought it out, and it was like the angels opened up the clouds. And I was like,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's beautiful, man. It's a great guitar. It is. It is. Okay, another question here, and then we'll talk about something off the subject. All right, so when you're on stage performing with the boys and stuff, and you see that crowd coming toward you, and dancing, moving, singing your songs, how does it make your heart feel, Mike, when you see that?
you know, I always explain that to people is that you've never felt a high like being on stage and having people sing your songs back to you. And it's almost like once the crowd starts swaying, it's overtakes you. I mean, you almost black out a little bit until you're done because
It's so
you've worked so hard to get your music out there for people to just listen to. But when they
yeah.
start singing it back to you, I know years ago we had a song called Merry Girl, and I had sent it was with another band, and a guy called me and he said, "Hey," he goes, "I walked down to the aisle. I walked down to get married, the aisle,
Mhm.
listening to that song." And I was like, "Are you
Wow.
kidding me?" I was like, "Wow."
That means a lot.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you put your whole heart into some of these songs, and for people to just enjoy them, and then when you see them coming out specifically to see you, it's not
Yeah,
that they're coming to see somebody that they don't know. It's
right.
always, and I always say we've been fortunate that we can go into a town that people might not know who we are, but a half hour
Right.
to 45 minutes later, everybody in that area knows who you are.
They know who you are. That's cool. And it's nice those moments always stay with you and never forget them. It's great. It
Yeah.
is. Now, before I talk about a couple of the songs here, I'm going to go off subject here. I take a look at your page and what you're up to. Talk to me about your dogs.
So yes, our dogs. We are
Yeah,
probably some of the best dog trainers in the United States.
I see that.
Yeah, I'll never say it in public, but my wife's a better trainer than I am. So yeah, we've been extremely. We started training dogs doing agility, lure coursing. We're getting into dock diving now, search and rescue, hunting, upland game, you name it. It's
That's beautiful.
we've had the opportunity to have some great dogs in our lives. My wife and I we've done it on the national level. Actually, our one dog Briggs, he'll be going back to Florida for invitationals. He's been top 10 for the last 8 years.
Wow.
Halo, our Doberman, he was in
Yeah.
Doberman Nationals, and then the young dogs are coming up. Flex is our Bees and Hound, and he's starting to do our show dog, or the foo-foo dogs, they call it.
Okay.
So he's starting to make some traction in that world. He'll go to Bees and Nationals this year too. And then Fia and Electra, they're the babies that everybody's starting to know, getting out there. And tomorrow actually, she takes the course for the first time. The little ones do, and
That's cool.
I think it's gonna be. It's interesting because they all have their own journey, and we kind of just make sure that everybody enjoys it. But yeah. They always say to be an Alvarez dog is to be spoiled, and people know it.
It's beautiful. Now, how many dogs do you have?
6.
6. Now, is one a Doberman or more than one?
Yep. Fia is our new girl Doberman. So she is
beautiful.
Our new show dog. So she'll be doing all the confirmation shows and going to Doberman Nationals. This year we'll go to Doberman Nationals with her. We went last year. She was a pup. So it was really interesting to see her compete on a world stage at 6 months.
Yeah.
There was
6 months.
People from China. I mean, everywhere. It was, those people come from around the world for those shows.
Wow.
So she held her own. She took 4th out of everybody throughout the whole year.
4th? That's good.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
She just turned her head at everybody and said, "To hell with you."
Well, it was funny because I was in the hallway one day and one of the judges comes up and she's like, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." And I was like, "Hello," and she was a really pretty famous judge. And she said, "I see dogs across the world." She goes, "That dog will go to Westminster." And I was like, okay. I was like, all right.
Well, let's do that. Heck yeah. Well, I'd love to see you at Westminster.
Yeah. So
that'd be cool. Oh, man, you got a lot going on. Whoa.
Yeah, man. I mean, we do a little bit of everything. It's funny because everybody always says, how do you have time for all the stuff that you guys do? You just prioritize, You have fun at work and you do what you do and you have fun playing too. But I always say I work hard to play hard.
Yeah, well, it's nice. You enjoy your music. You enjoy what you're doing with the dogs and everything in life. That's great. Definitely. So, all right, let's talk about a couple songs. Now, I want to go back to my favorite, "Old Man." I love that song to death. I play it all the time.
It's great. I mean, it was funny because everybody always kind of said it almost sounds like an Irish jig, and that really it came from. I had the opportunity to play with a gentleman that was actually from Belfast, Ireland, and he, his influences. I've always just enjoyed that kind of Irish background pub music. In fact, we have a newer one. It's "Have a Beer with Me," and it's an Irish jig. It's
a great song.
Got some fun, just bouncy chords in there, catchy.
Yeah. It's very catchy too. Now, taking "Old Man" and comparing it to your new song "Ghost," totally different. You can tell that changeover.
Yeah,
I like that.
And that's what we've got. I kind of Paul and Greg and myself have always said we don't want to sound exactly the same with all of our songs. People can get bored when you're listening to it if it's the same thing over and over and over. So the new stuff is more picked out, not so strummy. So you're more individually driven, delayed notes, and then a little bit more edgier distortion for the changes and stuff. So it's that rise and flow and then the big hook at the end.
I like that. Now with the new material, are you more leaning that way with that song?
Yeah, it's more towards like the Ghost sound. Where you can really hear the lyrics and hear what you're singing and just very melodically good. I guess somebody said the other day that if they closed their eyes when they were watching us play, they thought they were at an REM show.
That's pretty cool.
All right. I said, for sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, that's nice props. I like liking that. Cool, my friend. Well, Mike, we're getting towards the end of the interview here. I appreciate it so much you coming back on the podcast and chatting with me,
Yeah, for sure.
getting up to date with your music and stuff. Where are we going in the next year or so with the band? Are you going to try to get out of state at all, or are you just going to keep
Yeah,
pumping?
we're definitely getting out of the state, getting out of maybe even out of the country.
That'd be great.
We were just talking about that last week. Is let's finalize the new songs. Let's get them done in the studio. Let's just start running and going and going and going. We've always been that band that just never stopped working. We've been around 17 years, 18 years. That's that alone is amazing to see that.
That is.
Yeah.
That you made it that long, and you're doing wonderful. And you'll take off in Europe. I mean, I've got the bands over there wanting to come here, and I got bands here that want to go there. So maybe I can make an exchange somehow.
Yeah. Any help that we know, contact or anything else that you have out there, feel free to always just shoot me a message with it, because the one thing that we've always done is we've always been very professional as far as any contacts or going into venues, and we've always brought very professional bands with us also.
Definitely. Well, if I come up with something, or I will definitely let you know. I will keep you in the loop, and if you need anything from me, you know how to get a hold of me, my friend.
Yep.
Definitely. So a year from today, we're going to do this again.
Awesome.
So maybe it'll be 270 instead of 171. We'll keep it in the 70s. I love it, man. So everybody in podcast land, thank you for tuning into the Scarlet Curve show with Mike Alvarez, talking about the new music and what they're up to. If you're in the Wisconsin area, check them out. Hell of a band. They don't bite too hard. So check them out and go talk to the guys before and after the show. You're going to have a great time, and you will be singing the songs and jamming. It's great stuff. Great stuff, Mike. So I appreciate it, Mike, from the bottom of my heart. Any last words for our audience?
Once again, I just got to say, from like you always say, for real, thank you for everybody that's come out and supported us along the way. And we're just going to keep chugging along, keep doing what we do.
Good deal, Mike. All right, let me get this off to the platforms, and I'll send you the link in just a few. All right, brother?
Sounds good. Thanks again, man. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. See you, everybody. Podcast land until the next show. Take care, Mike. Bye-bye. Yep.